Okay, this is an article that came out in the Daily Mail, and it probably gives a very good picture layout of the victims. Probably one of the best. I looked at some of the ones that the American media put out. It wasn't quite as good as this one. Killed in Las Vegas massacre, the first 59 dead and 527 injured are identified, including a kindergarten teacher, an ex cheerleader, a wife who died in her husband's arms, two Army vets, and a heroic male nurse, 29, who saved his surgeon wife. And as you can see, it's like a collage of different photos here. And, it covers the victims' names, and there's like little eulogies in here, which are really good. So you can scroll down and see all of the photos. And, you know, I know they're saying this is the worst massacre on U.S. soil. I disagree with that. When you go back in history, there were massacres that were far worse than this. I'll say it's the worst one probably in the 21st century. I do agree with that, but it's not the worst on American soil. So many people lost. These things are going to occur. America is a nation full of weapons and guns and stuff. And if you want it this way, then you can expect these things to happen. And all of you that keep talking about taking guns away, I have never seen anything in American history that shows that anyone went around and took guns away. I think y'all say that mess just to justify having guns. But when you look at the history, I have never seen that. If anybody has seen guns being taken away from the American citizens, please post that history on here because I don't see that happening. All I hear are a bunch of people saying that mess, but I have yet to see that occur. I think that's just garbage these people put out there just to justify having a gun. I haven't seen not one instance where people went around taking guns away. I haven't seen it yet. And neither have all of these people that go around saying that load of crap. They haven't seen it either. They're full of crap. And they were saying that this is a shot of this man just moments before he was killed. You can see there were, they had a pretty big crowd out there. And as I stated before in my video yesterday, being that the crowd was so dense, it was easy for him to get the amount of people that were hit. And then you can see a map of the hotel. And you'll see right here in this picture, you can see the windows broken out where he actually shot down into the crowd. They said he had two adjoined rooms. So he went between these rooms shooting down at the crowd. No, it's a shame how a person can decide they're having a crappy life and take it out on everybody. But from what I understand, ladies and gentlemen, this man was a multimillionaire. So this was not some, depressed guy that had nothing. This man was a millionaire. And the woman that was with him, this woman right here, she actually was not with him. She was in the Philippines. When the cops contacted her, she had flew back to the Philippines. So she was not physically with him because they said she was a person of interest. Her name was Mary Lou Danley, but she was from the Philippines, and when she answered the phone, she said, I'm in the Philippines. I have nothing to do with that." So they have already declared her no longer a person of interest. Okay. So that's why he was able to check into the hotel. This is Stephen Paddock with his brother Eric. And Stephen is the one that's standing up in the photo. Yeah, this is definitely, like I said, it's tragic. So over the next few days, ladies and gentlemen, these funerals will probably be plastered all over. It's going to be a lot of them. And then Trump giving his speech. And, here's the shooter's house, Stephen Paddock. Like I said, he was a millionaire, and they said he only lived like 80 miles away from the Las Vegas Strip in Mesquite, Nevada. And this is his home right here. Wow. Yeah, I heard when the shooting began, there were a lot of people that had to use their cars and their vehicles to get folks to the hospital because there were not enough ambulances that came on the scene. So everybody had to help out getting people to local hospitals with their own vehicle. And here's the Florida home that he owned. Paddock's former home in Florida. So I guess this is one house that he used to own. And this is Jason Aldean. He was actually the one that was performing when the gunshots began out there in Nevada during his performance. But, none of the performers were injured. They got off of the stage right away. Okay. You can see a bullet hole in that metal wall right there. And of course, the crowd's reacting. It's awfully funny how everybody's saying this is not a terrorist attack, but those folks sure look terrorized to me. They look very terrorized. And over the next few days you'll hear from witnesses that were down on the ground and how they got hit. So it's going to be a lot of witnesses giving their accounts, probably all week long. And then you'll probably be hearing about the funerals as well on TV. So this is going to be a very long process. You know, I didn't know about the shooting myself. When I woke up in the morning, that's when I had heard about it. So, it was pretty shocking. It's not the kind of thing you expect to hear first thing in the morning, but here it is. I wish I could say the country can unite, but we have never been a united country. I mean, let's face it, it's the truth. America has never been united. It's too many ugly things in the history that have kept us from uniting. So those things are all nice and pure, pretty to say, but the reality is it's not like that. And there was one black man that I saw in the crowd, and he was killed, and they said he was an off-duty cop. Um, so, but everybody else, were Caucasians, or there were some Hispanics. Um, but nevertheless, like I said, not the worst massacre in the U.S., but definitely probably the worst one in the 21st century. Please tell me what you think, ladies and gentlemen. Please leave your comments and subscribe. And if you can donate to my channel, please do. Peace, family.